Hi and welcome to Maven's Movie Vault of Horror and Little Miss Monster Maker Reviews. We've decided to episode these film reviews, or horror film reviews I should say, on the basis that when we did Red Eye, it was a low budget film.
Yes, what we consider an underground indie venture.
Horror. So we're going to entitle these reviews of these low budget underground indie films, Views from the View from the Underground. So this will be episode 2. Officially. I'm going to pass you over to Angela now. You can tell you a bit about the film that the short film that we watched.
Well, okay. The film that we watched was a film by a director called Guy Pearce, aka Sculpting Fragments. He used to have a YouTube channel, he's one of the people alongside Oakfield 88, I think, as far as I remember, that initially got me into underground films, or what I would deem underground films, such as your Mordums and so on. And I became a member of BTU, which I must say that this review is in affiliation with BTU and Nick DiCarlo and also Guy, with permission.
Yeah, send us the links to screeners to watch these.
Yeah, every link will be in the description. So yeah. Guy, his first venture into directing was a piece called Road Maiden, along the vein of the guinea pig films. Guy's always been very interested in Asian extreme cinema. This is where I learnt about things such as Tetsuo. I always remember Tetsuo because I actually requested him to do a review on that, and a lot of the cyberpunk stuff like Rubber's Lover and things like that anyway. So Road Maiden was, although amateurish, quite impressive for its budgetary constraints, and you could see that it had a flair for special effects, and not only that, but direction, such as in his shots were very well thought out, and it didn't look as amateurish as some of the other things I'd seen. So Nick kindly asked Guy if we could watch a screener and put forward a review, and we did. And I have to say, for the thing that me and Michael have based these reviews on, we had to pick an aspect to look at each film from, so we chose the budget. Because our initial gripe with the first underground film we reviewed, not the first ever, but the first as this series, was Red Eye, which had a budget of 12,000, I think.
Yeah, just over 12,000. The name of the film.
Well, I will do, I'll get to it yet. Anyway, Guy's film was around 75 American dollars, which equates to around £50. The film is called Difficulty Breathing, and I have to say that I went into this, of course, as with anything, a little bit hesitant and perhaps willing to overlook certain aspects of it because of budgetary constraints and such like, but I have to say it was brilliant.
It was a 40-minute short.
Yes, it was.
40-minute short. Yeah.
It was fantastic.
It was gripping from start to finish.
I don't want to give any spoilers away because this is a film that you have to go into not knowing anything, because the plot itself is quite simple.
Very simple. Very simple. It's
It's
often the best plots are.
Yeah, I did say to Michael, I think it's beneficial to have a quick synopsis before you go into it.
Yeah.
That's not to say it doesn't perpetuate what it's about well enough. It's just that it does make it easier to follow, and you can really get engrossed into it all. I did read the synopsis first, a brief synopsis from a previous review.
I went into it completely blind.
Well,
That's a bit most films, to be honest.
So I don't know how to approach this because I don't want to give anything away. So I think if we talk first of all about the actual the direction itself, camera wise and sound, and the actual elements of the film rather than the plot.
Well, let's talk about the plot first.
Okay.
Just simple outline. It's shot in Japan, isn't it?
Yes, it is now. He's living in Japan
It's got
now.
a cast of 3 people. maybe.
I think
Maybe
to
two
be
and a
honest,
half.
it's 2. 2.5, yeah. Without giving too much away.
The story follows a young Japanese girl who goes out to do whatever she's got to do, and she gets attacked. And the film then follows her reaction to the attack.
Kind of her descent into
how
madness.
It affected her mental state and physical state.
Yeah. For gorehounds, I will say that if you're going into this with the expectation that, as regards to most underground films, there's a lot of
Blood,
latex penises.
shit.
I will say we've talked about this. You know that kind of thing. There is none of that in this film.
No.
What you will find is a sensory experience, as this film is based around the fact that you have to play it loud. And on first seeing that, especially where we are living, it's like, okay, I'd love to, but I don't want to disrupt the neighbours. So we played it kind of at a medium range. And if you sit and watch it, you cannot help but get engrossed in it. Now, there's hardly any
dialogue.
There's no dialogue at all, and no score really to speak of. There's no score.
I think that the film heavily relies on what you see, and the actress, how she reacts to situations.
We discussed this. I think, and not getting too personal, I think if you've ever experienced any kind of descent into kind of any
anxiety,
or any kind of
is it agoraphobia? Where agoraphobia?
Well, any kind of
yeah.
What's the word?
Or basically
mental illness.
Being in a situation that
you do find that in a lot of films that's over perpetuated and everything is amped up by about 9,000. In this film, it's very realistic.
Starts very subtle, very realistic.
Yeah, and the tiniest thing you can really empathise with, because
especially if you've been in that sort of position yourself.
The isolation in itself, sometimes people dismiss that as not being something that could be necessarily scary or make you anxious, but if you've been in that position, it really takes you back there.
Yeah.
Because it can be the smallest thing, and
plays very psychologically.
Yes, I mean, I never thought that I would ever. I mean, I really did. I went into this film thinking that it was going to be another throwaway underground kind of venture, and the thing was, I was so happily surprised by how good it was. Yeah. It was kind of a crescendo, a build-up of noise and sound and visual. And there was one point in this film, and I have to admit this is the first time in around 5 to 6 years where I actually had an adrenaline rush of fear. Yeah. Because it took everything that you thought was going to happen, and then you looked beyond that and you thought, well, that's not going to happen, so this will happen. But then it took it to that third step of, right, okay, you did that instead, and you couldn't help, and your whole body responded, and it was amazing.
Horror fans will know you get that rush of adrenaline that comes up from your belly and sort of rises.
Because me and Michael both looked at each other and
it was literally a split second shot, wasn't it?
It was fantastic. It was done
so well.
No gore.
Yeah.
No big Hollywood budget.
And it wasn't a scare jump either.
No, it wasn't a jump scare. It was just fantastic. Considering what I watched from Rope Maiden, you can see that. I think
there's a lot of thought gone.
Yes, Guy has took his time and he's stepped back and he's looked at where he wants to go as a director. And it's very easy to squeeze into the underground market with just a lot of latex and blood and sex. And I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a place for it, and we all like it from time to time. We want that treat thrill, or we want to be part of a gang, or we all want to follow somebody that's doing something extreme. But I have to say, and I will be honest, this was probably the best low budget indie film I've seen.
Yeah. 50 quid.
50. We talked about this. I mean, we spend that on maybe a takeaway and some beer.
On a Friday night. Yeah.
It was amazing. I'm still smiling from watching it. I was so surprised.
It was one of those. The pacing was excellent.
Yes, it was. Yeah,
I did find myself wanting to know what was going to happen,
Yeah.
not because I was bored or anything like that. I generally wanted to see where it was going to end up, and it ended up being the perfect 40 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Any shorter would have been too short.
Yeah.
Any longer, it would have been too long. It was absolutely brilliant.
I loved it.
Every single shot was thought about.
Yes, and
really
the
nice
camera angles.
Yeah.
I mean, because me and Mike, we do aspire to do a little bit of this ourselves, so we kind of break down every shot. And we think for that 1 minute scene, there was at least 20, 30 maybe different shots that were all thought about and put together from different angles. And you know, the editing was amazing. We were trying to think of something to be negative about. I mean, people that watched our last review, we've had quite a few negative comments and feedbacks, and that's fine. People can have an opinion. Well, we've had a few downvotes, and I'm absolutely fine with that.
That's fine.
And I don't expect any different, because it's good that we can all have a different opinion.
Yeah.
I will defy anybody to find fault with this film, and I would stand by this film. And I'm myself. I'm going to buy this. I mean, we will put the links in the description. He's actually distributing this himself.
Printing all
the artwork
DVDs,
is amazing. The detail, the amount of stuff that he will put into his packages for you. It's very personal, because when I received Rope Maiden, it was signed. It was very personal. It was all homemade, which I can talk about because I make a lot of stuff myself, figures, and there's a lot of love goes into there. He's distributing everything. He's not there cap in hand, you know. And I would say, Guy is one of the people that I would definitely go out there and support, and I would hold a hand up and say, this guy really does,
after watching that,
no pun intended, needs, you know, I would happily put money into his next venture.
I forgot what I was going to say.
I will say though, to add, I think somebody like Guy would benefit from not ever having too much money, because I think the constraints of the budget pushes him to find those different ways of filming and creating.
Yeah, you can see in this that somebody who knew what they were doing, knew what they wanted to do. What
they wanted, and tried different ways.
Yeah, and it wasn't just passion for horror.
No.
This was some really good filmmaking.
This was heartfelt. Yeah. And we said that, it was very emotional.
Yeah, it was. And again, going back to the point, is if you've ever been in that situation, you feel every scene, and you know, the actress puts that forward very well.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Speaking of the actress, I'm sorry, I didn't look up her name, and I do apologise. Another thing, when you go into these kind of indie underground type horror films, usually, no disrespect, is the actors and actresses that let you
let it down. Yeah.
She was very good. Yeah. Very subtle. No over-egging it.
Especially for something that doesn't require much dialogue.
Which is quite hard anyway, because it's all in
body language.
Yeah. It was really good, and there was nothing that I ever thought looked a bit too, you know. And I can't praise it enough. Yeah. I'm so happy. This was the first thing that, because I said to Mike, I said, look, I want to do a series on underground indie ventures, because it's always been something I've been passionate about. The reason is because it inspires everybody to believe that they can produce something. They can have a go. They can do that. We're not talking like these big Hollywood blockbusters. We're talking somebody who's took about 6 months on their camera phone even to put something together, and to perpetuate an emotion that they felt or something that they feel, and put it on film. And
I mean, it's not even just that. It's when you watch a lot of films, you pick things up, or you watch interviews with directors, you pick things up. Yeah. It's techniques, and then you try them yourself, or you use that, you apply that knowledge or what you've gained over the years into putting something into making something. And this is, I mean, you know, I don't actually know him personally, but you can tell.
Definitely.
It's great cinematic knowledge.
There's a hell of a lot of
good filmmaking.
There's a lot of thought gone into it. A lot of thought. I was so impressed, because I was. The one thing that me and Michael will always be on these reviews, and it may be upsetting to some people, but it's something that I have to stand by, and Michael in principle, especially me, is that I will be very honest and to the point and blunt, because when the day comes that I say, do you know something, that was good and I stand by that, it's honest.
Yeah.
It's not for any other reason other than the fact
if
that I genuinely enjoyed that.
If we think it looks like a piece of shit, it is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
We're going to call it shit.
Yes, I'm not going to say it's fantastic because the Soska sisters directed it, or
No.
you know, because I don't know, no disrespect, Fred Vogel or anybody else. If it's shit, I'm going to say it's shit.
Yeah.
This was brilliant.
Let's go bigger. Quentin Tarantino is one of my favourite directors. Do I think he's made a better films than Pulp Fiction? No, but I still
I don't
enjoy
like
his
Pulp
work.
Fiction
You don't
very
like
much, no.
But I still enjoy his work. So you know what I mean. You don't just because you love something that somebody's done doesn't mean you have to love everything they've done.
I will say one thing. I mean, this is equating back to the Red Eye review. A lot of, well, sorry, I say a lot. No, that's unfair. One person who was quite evidently a friend of the director and his partner decided to confront us on the comments, which is fine. I like that, because whenever we put a constructive argument back, they're deflected with another comment. Now the point is, I like it. I do like to have that interaction and
discussion, debate. It's healthy.
This is the thing,
Yeah.
and as I say, I think it counts for a lot, because you do see a lot of people wanting to be in a certain gang,
Yeah.
and they pin the flag to the mast, and that's it. They're in that quarter. If you genuinely look, I mean, we got told we had no passion for this. Me and Michael we've got our fingers in everything, in horror cons, in
many
making
fingers
stuff,
in many pies.
because we love it, not because we want anything. I mean, we're not rich.
No, I mean, I've got age on my side. As most of you probably know, I'm 40 years old. I've been watching horror films since the fucking early 80s, and not just horror films, everything my dad used to watch, from westerns to musicals to old black and white gangster flicks.
And this is one of the
you know what I
things
mean?
that I enjoyed about this film, because I think if we look at horror as a whole now, when we used to watch horror back in the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, the 50s, it was like a reflective zeitgeist of the times. So now we look back on those eras nostalgically, and they're fun. Because they're nostalgic, they're fun. When it comes to the modern era, something like difficulty breathing, especially with a lot of the mental illness that is about today, because of the constraints of modern day living, I know this is very deep, I'm sorry, you can really affiliate with that, and I can. Although we live in one of the most easiest times,
Almost too easy.
yes, that's the point. I think the constraints of the rat race, the roundabout, the mental illness, everything else, the depression, the drugs, and a lot of films that really touch me nowadays are around this kind of subject.
Yeah.
And considering this was made for peanuts, with nothing but genuine, and I sound silly, I hope this is how you feel, Guy, but genuine passion for what he did. I really connected with his film. As I say, it wasn't overstated. It wasn't it wasn't like it was just
perfect.
subtle,
The sounds that were on
small.
there
Yeah.
fitted perfectly with every scene. You know what I mean? Nothing was misused, nothing was overused.
It's so hard to talk about this film. I wanted to say what happens. I know, I can't say. I don't want to spoil it. Look, listen. We're going to put the links in the description to the film. He has a page where he sells the film.
Okay.
He does. I think, as far as I've seen, he does a VHS version, which is amazing. DVDs. I'm sure he does other kind of things. The artwork is amazing. I know that was provided by somebody else, so you want to go check out his page as well.
If you want to support somebody genuine and talented,
buy his film and watch it.
We will, along with the usual the links in the description below. We will put a link to his website. Also, we're going to give a shout out to Beneath the Underground, BTU.
Yeah, because this whole kind of series will be in affiliation primarily with BTU and Nick DiCarlo. I've been friends with Nick now for around 4 or 5 years, I'd say. We've been through the ups and downs. And I stepped away from the underground scene for a long time because, as most of you know who are in it, there was a heck of a lot of drama. It was dog eat dog, and it went
Tits
I'll
up.
be honest, I was going to say that myself. Tits up for a long time, and it was a sad state of affairs. But it's like I said to Nick the other day. Once the flies have finished feeding, the shit's all gone. You know, once everybody's had their feed, all the shit's gone, and we've got the genuine people now that, regardless of what they ever try to do, they always come back to this kind of quarter.
Yeah.
It's what we love. It's what we do. It inspires people to know that they can do it too. If you're feeling down, if you're feeling, you know, in that place, instead of doing all silly, pick up a camera, put it on film. You know, everybody's got it in them. And I know it's really good therapy. This is my kind of come-to place for therapy, and it's amazing. And I think this is a time to come back to it now. We've got some new people coming through, old people coming through with new stuff, and it's really good. And I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to watch this as a screener. And I'd like to thank Nick, and I'd like to thank Guy. And as I say, everything will be linked underneath.
Yeah. So that's a wrap.
Yeah,
So that
go
was-
watch
yeah,
it.
that
I
was,
think out of the scoreometer, the shitometer,
Yeah.
I'll have to give this out of 5.
Do that 5 or out of 10?
I do out of, do I do out of 10?
Out of 10,
Okay,
right.
out of 10. I'm going to have this. I'm going to compare this to most disturbing films I've seen as well. So it's quite a high caliber.
Yeah, you would put it in that actually. Yeah.
I can't compare it to just put it in that subgenre. I'm going to say this is a definite 9 for me. I think with maybe that added little bit of budget and extra tweaking, this could have been brilliant. I mean, it's brilliant anyway for what it is. So I don't know how to score it.
I know, so,
because if I give a 10 and then I see something that is a 10, I'm going to have to give it 11. So in my mind it's a 10.
I'd agree with a 9 out of 10.
In my mind it's a 10, but on paper it's a 9.
Brilliant. So that was Difficulty Breathing by Guy Pearce.
And if anybody wants to disprove our shitometer, go watch Red Eye, then watch Difficulty Breathing.
Yeah.
Realise that one was made for £12,000, one was made for £50. These are both indie underground films, and then tell us we're wrong.
Yeah.
Thank you, naysayers.
So thank you for watching this episode. It's again, have a look at the links in the description.
Please check out the BTU website.
Yeah, the BT website, that'll all be down there in there. Like, comment, share, and please subscribe. We are a new channel, up and coming. I have been reviewing films since 2011. And you've been around in the scene for a long time.
I've been around everywhere.
Been around the block several times. I haven't, not ever. But yeah, so thanks for watching. We'll be doing another View from the Underground episode very soon, so keep an eye out for that as well. Thanks guys, see you later.
Bye.